Beatrice, you can go interview Kissi. Ask him, has he ever been in meetings with Fufuriata where financial decisions were made? He knows what I'm talking about. Has he worked for Fufuriata? Has he worked for Gabi? How can such a person investigate Fufuriata? How can such a person investigate Fufuriata? We're just going to lose. We'll lose a court case, some of the charges, because look, let me mention, causing financial loss. Who gave him that authority to do causing financial loss?
The minority leader was one of the reasons why I petitioned, or my client petitioned for the removal of the Chief Justice. There was a huge count which mentioned his name and mentioned the acts that formed the basis of our petition.
Afenyo Markin Exposed. Now, if you are Afenyo Markin, say we are minority leaders a day. Why sorry, a guy, and this is a tintin tree. Yanka was him. Who down who had no shake. What now, mamma, me a friend get to Araba. Seki Tokono. Why a pompous I guy into the baby grand work with ya.
We said it time and again that the seat of Kpandai was the seat for the NDC. They rigged the election, and we've been saying it time and again that we will continue to expose crooked electoral officers who will continue to rig election. We will stop them. We will make sure that the NDC will prevent such rigging machinery of the then NPP and their crooked collaborators in the Electoral Commission.
Adamu ya MPP for Niabrero. Mumu esimu wini election biade. Tamale Central Maje. Nanu ya ba election mo wini kama. Akotie mo se wini. Se Kpandai so amusa be se mu jaji free MPP ho. Na amu koka 86. Ah ba. Ndisi muntu mo wase. Asem no baby aduru no eyeja tuntum. Eyeja koko eyeja hihye. Easy chair Jane Mensa onua ne staff ese John Dramani Mahama. Je mekrata petition ya medi be tintin.
The petitioner nipa or the petitioner come president say only Electoral Commission chairperson need 2 deputies. Now you over Joseph Blankson. Mr. Blankson akwa ba ekosi saying so ni apom te saying
Boko
Yadanyamia say media report extreme one we staff of the Electoral Commission me pacho no kre
no kre pa
oh why adwuma we yi si ho ache
since 2012 January.
Since January 2012.
Yes.
Hey, as what ache pa in the headquarters one as our region and our district be
no headquarters.
Hey, headquarters was the one only easy chairperson deputies in na wo
I never headquarters.
And they are tough. We are tough. Ain't one on such a petition na say the akoma president. Na unyina so ne say anti wo say omampanyin hwe na onyi chairperson and the deputies here in free ho.
Well, petition there, the petition, the contents in there, you don't disclose it because
sure.
That is a petition.
Sure, that's true.
According to Article
146.
146,
yes.
Of the 1992 Constitution of the land.
Sure.
Until the contents there means when disclosed.
Yes.
Yes, but according to public statement I'm releasing here, no. Incompetence, chronism, other things also, and you all can see.
Into incompetence, cronyism, and Sanyoman, you win so.
But there's into detail to the President now. There is detail, information inside.
Obehu details in
Obehu details, yes.
Hey, but now that your name is out, do you feel safe?
No, I have even not been to the office for almost 2 years now.
Hey.
Yes, because of our office. And the 2 years, 2 years in the court.
Indeed, are you under suspension and I say you were the answer again?
Interdiction.
Oh, an interdiction.
Yes.
For pending further investigations, Anna.
Yes, not pending. Interdiction, no.
Yes.
They mean national security. I'm almost to make national security for 3 days. Now, and you can put on the 6th day, no. Mammy na or one who say, on to the bananka. And see, or call easy horse, so for the shaman, or call no. The commissioners name members in the going to see the commissioners is almost inquire about. And see, I one of the staff, here, Mammy and Papa, my lawyers, and I say, Monk on security, Namobano or so. And on the city number, honor, and on Bahana, and on this lawyers in the count, and no union. And not Mammy who Nakomba, I will be there for only God knows. Yes, and after that, you know, I'm going to make a court for 1 year. Now, 1 year court, easy lawyer, easy Mammy Nankata. Nobody from easy, 8 to 90 for 1 year. Let's not make a court every month. I'm a court. Mr. Lawyers. And me 1 year now, I'm on back court. I'm only evidence behind it in the and I dead 2 or 7 to 3 days. And I'm also change a crap for 6 months. I said, I'm that's an argument. I invite me back to the office. None of them made you 6 months 1 year. And I'm miss you almost. Miss you almost no. Miss you almost no. I won't accept a rate, you know, within that month. But after accepting rate, you are supposed to file defense. When you can say 6 months, you almost file defense.
Ain't I would want to believe, say, what chronicles are you winning as part of our grounds, no, right? And I say they are completely different.
Completely different. One
for way more. But is it also a case of sour grapes? And by sour grapes, I mean, say, on my year, when you said you work an hour in the yawn in now the actual petition way.
Debbie,
yeah, I get it. But say, yawn in Tino, what baby beer would the general structural petition is an American?
Debbie, and yao cry.
In this year, still interdiction no and our service still.
Yes.
Now what drew retirement age now we can cry.
Oh, we can do cry. A very young man.
Wow. But young father says Sanka uko fie kakra and ebi omo resolve issues no. And ye ka say anka wasen akọ back to adwuma wo ye wadwuma. Anka how the petition we be call.
I'm coming back. I'm coming back.
Wow. Ain't the other thing would be, say, now your expectation is, say, Omanpenyin ever trigger Article 146 process, no, against, and clarify, remember me, chairperson and the 2 deputies, and I say 1 deputy.
2 deputies.
2 deputies, Nina.
Yes.
And a chairperson, no.
Aye.
Hey. Those Omanpenyin Pamo Mummy and Senina.
That's right.
For incompetence, any cronyism. Cronyism would mean, say, Omo ye ebusuya semne namfo semon.
What the content in there? I'm talking about my bottle. Content in there. What the content you are na. Omanpenyin documents now on one answer and
yes, everything you've stated in that petition or evidence to back it.
I
was there on the 2 months after and me busa. Yeah, and Mate. You young swear that's into be any best about being comobio. Why? Yeah, that's a
the crowd the top of one in an say easy chair. I offend in Mensa. Mamma, you know. Only the 2 deputies I come home. Ma papa, bomu get away. From Frekunyano Suna, I remember among us who from easy on one new office. The staff member Bako, Afenyo Blankson Adumadzie, and some Oka, President John Dramani Mahama, Nanyano Nkwao. OSP, Office of the Special Prosecutor Kissi Agyebeng, he to what? OSP in it, Papa Afenyo Martin Kpebu, ento kono mo kono kai lawyer e friend Tettey sorry papa no so say onanu atum o si OSP no ankasa no from day one no suspecting say akwa no as we nim the oye from day one ana hu say bebe ogru kono nye ana o say come Ghana for what say ma me e friend no Gertrude Araba Seki toko no no a former chief justice ayi no the entire abufo no ba ye ma papa ye friend no Daniel Ofori yes Ghana stock exchange sikani bi ani ko o say o sika gare sika bu sika na ye say bro papa na abufo ma ne ko fale ye self petitioner John Dramani Mahama any council of elders area so yi no osini na Alexander Afenyo Markin India o say enya Afenyo Markin sankwe nge bi kura nkan koduru ha but okoye say o ka bi mama me no eho ne dia asem ba ya mesi ye ani sam bebrebe ayakoso abo arrest galore we nyina John Dramani Mahama nema we say obes making sure say Ghana answer no be fit by 2028 near set Ghana ampa we naked truth our Oldboga trends make sure say over subscribe we are like it na share mo nua asu enye bi hwe edi no e ba kope Maxi Billian we are make sure say obeja comment edi ato comment section na say staff member ba kwa our Electoral Commission office Afenyo Blankson Adumadzie papa no of formally wa petition John Dramani Mahama say ma me ye friend Jin Mensa tue kai am say papa na yo se hwe me aden o se ma me nim na dwuma including the two deputies chese omunim de omoye am say Ghana for your complaints several say are you me abonteni mi frinzom ana eba ti me beka chem say dan chem no wawu apro ama ne bon kan mo wedi machinie am say me ne wan as mo enti formally on akoma John Dramani Mahama say ma me aye frɛ no Mensa oye Electoral Commission chair no oyi papa me ne firi ono ni madwuma kai say na anu ya na imani Ghana for beka say after the case course our sir voter region ama one constituency or man representative all because your man ba na just say a bad thing ama NPP because na no NDC ever be majority in parliament even though no omo na opposition even though not president at that time na adodan kwa akufo ado a oye NPP ni edi ade na maso ana unfortunately ma me your friend Gertrude Araba Seki toko no chief justice also for so many ye fekama enti ena imani Ghana focus John Dramani Mahama abadi ya mu bepeti o mepetichi o yi ma me ye friend no Mensa efre kunya so sanya yo no nko amanfo mo awaka no omo dos no must say complain say ai petition ente mu na de o meba we de ango ya bondusu ni o obi a oti EC office wo I friend Joseph Blankson Adumadzie ana say papa de aye bonina maame I friend Mensa di no baby wadu na ye okay and you maame friend kunya so plus the two deputies I can't hope because when you moduma omba easy just a figures baako election 2020 2016 figure 2020 rather figures atwe kai o maami timi boba ko na nam ha one election yanya three different results ana Mensa edema one constituency not a single representative o man nabi anu we didi maami ana onko he register mu na onye register ni ye se be ya enko ye se kronu bi ekoto oso nti ase ema NDC for no twema so sa ene so amfa enti according to onwa staff ni worker I friend Joseph Blankson Adumadzie chese John Dramani Mahama mami I friend Mensa mrenaso bon get away manin ko fie don ko di ni mami eduane me say hey baby every day asem no ayese ayoja kokko eja tuntum fire ehyewa wankasa obeba na OSP esu na ne obema ni update wi se oni papa ye frɛ no Kenneth Ofori Ata a former finance minister Edima Ghana manso twe no ye ntwiwe ye enti omugo so omotwi manso no titi aiza hane bolgatanga no na enedwe yi eho atini ekoso yi ana papa ye friend Martin Kpebu se twenkai o se ma mi ye friend friend say OSP papa ye friend Kissi Agyebeng we say game from amekwa na gadi Marcelo o se OSP adwuma na odie na onim se oye bone na bone a odie yi enye na enye tena da ben na oba bewie na we aya bra IMF report on the batch say OSP has no clear and consistent system to decide when cases are ready for court. And the IMF also reporter on the batch say Ghana sika yedi ni basa emanti there be 3 seconds be any about IMF from all because of corruption allegations and surrounding Ghanaians ye persecuted too much sika ne ba ya obi apeso odidie obi apeso de nsam ba ko mienu bankuni nifa ebom left right center na office na ya tena ye friend office of the special prosecutor say check there's nothing special about that office because till now to date basically that always been only clear and consistent system bia or the decided when cases you better report cases na dey call them OSP baby aduru every local people so I want to do international NK overbrew we the overbre because as that if we Kevin Taylor Captain Smart betwaso ya titi NPP so Martin Kpebu our lawyer e da be so and that Theodore sorry aso e dey be come as a lawyer yan gwangwati IMF International Monetary Fund as say OSP woni mo dwuma me say ba ku fo aden de nko abo ne nko aben ana nko awaya obia ebo charge obia obo kwadu adentia anozu na Martin Kpebu say IMF kasa de o ma yeti asese Kissi Agyebeng sought the most valuable suspect leave and he did not do anything when a lawyer Martin Kpebu asma okache say I want for say ne quams and say ne beef and say DNT on OSP akoya say twemamenti was hwe adentina Ken Oforiata papa ni say since that onya oba charge no na o man ni free Ghana ha etu kwanko PM wo USA ene entie kra say ba ne kire say Ken Oforiata apply for 3 different countries to visa I say onya no wi otilo ogudu baba answer the benya na mamba ebo PM Ghana no ye be rough according to Martin Kpebu no as I like say papa your friend Ken Ofori ya ata papa no say na say Ghana like o mabiu on si ha on Ghana ni bia ni twaka bia biu owie na mamu owie na aduma pa budget ni dey budget o country wodi sika wodi ko o mabiu enti when na say OSP Office of the Special Prosecutor Kissi Agyebeng ontimi nka se onima asem no bi da oye da onima asem no bi enti edinti no say eye den kwan bia so OSP ye be na free office no obe make sure say o me na free no we no ana odin to say enye OSP na yenya Apostle Abraham Lincoln I say o say okoye demonstration at OSP and say asmo o say sanko oye aduma yi a enye say Ghana for Ghanaian citizen actually say complaining about his work.
So what's fueling my anger is that as I stated clearly, and most Ghanaians by now have come to join the fray. They've joined the fray because Kissi Agyebeng subsequently came to admit that he saw Oforiata leave. And even before the departure, he said he had intercepted the letter that Oforiata wrote to the outgoing chief of staff and the incoming chief of staff. Right. So once he stated that, and also stated that he had gone to the security agencies for help and didn't get same, which has turned out to be palpably false. I mean, naturally, as a citizen, I'll be angry, extremely angry. And natural fact, it had been simmering for a while because I'd heard, like we say in Ghana, you know, but each time they'll be like, hey, listen, if you go out with it, they will ask you for evidence. If you go out with this allegation, they will ask for evidence. So it's good riddance that eventually he came to admit that, look, he saw Oforiatta go. He even had the letter. And I said, then that is the right time that he has to leave, because what better evidence we have than a confession? Thank God there are quite a number of lawyers. I see some in the audience.
The confession was to tell Ghanaians that he couldn't do anything about it.
Oh, but that's hogwash, absolute hogwash. We've shown that he could have done a press conference. We've shown that he could have done a press conference, and the law mandates him to do that. And he had done Ankwanuma Part 1, and so we wanted Ankwanuma Part 2. So if he had done a press conference, and you see, it's constitutional. Asking him to come and inform our citizens is constitutional. You find it in the preamble to the Constitution, Article 1, Article 35, and Article 125. That is sovereignty. Sovereignty resides in the people, okay, and for whose benefit and welfare the powers of government are exercised. So if you're exercising your statutory powers and you get challenges and no other institution will help you, come back to the owners of the land. This is deep political theory. It's not just constitutional theory. Ask the political experts. On Saturday, you heard Professor Jampo bringing the political science angle. So it's a governance issue. So we shouldn't be sitting here joking, please. And so in that light, tomorrow there's a citizen who is going on a demonstration. Apostle Abraham Lincoln Labi. We should join him, 7:30 at the Brassport. If you don't, it means you are not protecting the Constitution. If you want to protect the Constitution, tomorrow you should be at the demonstration. The special prosecutor comes to tell you that he saw the most valuable suspect. Like in football, you say most valuable player, right? In this one, we say most valuable suspect fleeing the country. And he chooses not to inform the citizens and kept quiet until citizens kept making noise, putting pressure. Then about 10 months on, 5th of November, he now comes to spill the beans. You don't have a special prosecutor. You don't have one. You don't have one.
Earlier, we had Mr. Michael Kwame Bodi with the Transparency International. He listed a number of challenges with our institutions and why we are where we are. Yeah. One of the things he talked about was the need for us to strengthen our institutions. And he gave examples. You don't think that perhaps the special prosecutor has found himself in this situation because he and the act that established him, they don't feel empowered enough?
Not at all.
Strengthened enough?
Not at all, Beatrice, I don't agree. Beatrice, if we open the Special Prosecutor Act right now, right, we would read to you that the Special Prosecutor has police powers. So they said that he went to NIB. Do you know that NIB that by itself doesn't even arrest? The people at NIB who are arrested are actually policemen. When you read the Securities and Intelligence Agencies Act, NIB is an intelligence agency. NIB is not super police. They are not the senior brothers to the Ghana Police Service. They are to gather intelligence, but then as part of their work, then they collaborate with the Ghana Police Service. So the people who arrest, the NIB officers who do the arrest, etc., are actually Ghana Police Service personnel, right? So it's just a ruse. And have you seen the write-up Manasseh did? You know, I earlier on said that I checked with NIB, and they said it's a lie. Kissi never came there asking for any help. And today, Manasseh has corroborated me. He's also done his checks. Just this morning, he's put it out there. So it's a palpable falsehood. Look, it fits into that thing that he's a double agent. He was fighting and still fighting to help Akufo-Addo appointees. Pure and simple. We will continue to make that noise. At least this particular case vindicates me. The Oforiatta is Akufo-Addo's cousin and Akufo-Addo's appointee. You see, sometimes I think the law, this time about every time, go and bring hard evidence, is allowing too many criminals to escape. Because we always knew it. You know, from day one, people kept saying that, look, Kissi Agyebeng can't do this job. He's too conflicted. Look, Beatrice, you can go interview Kissi. Ask him, has he ever been in meetings with Oforiatta where financial decisions were made? He knows what I'm talking about. Has he worked for Oforiatta? Has he worked for Gabi? How can such a person investigate Oforiatta? How can such a person investigate Oforiatta? We're just going to lose. We'll lose a court case, some of the charges. Because look, let me mention, causing financial loss. Who gave him that authority to do causing financial loss? That power belongs to the Attorney General. You know, when the Cecilia Power matter came, he said that he's not empowered to do money laundering. So he was sending the docket to Iyoko. And then he even gave the money back to Cecilia Dapa when he could have taken, of course, he would say court order. But my point is that this time, why is he going ahead with causing financial loss when that one he doesn't have the power?
Na Rusi yepe ana tedio sorry. Eso edi ninsam ebetu dwa say na ono ana ye lead counsel a lawyer. Edima papa your friend than you Ofori. One of the richest Ghanaian men. Omo Ghana yasas hiswi amanfo nim da no Ofori ni ye. No man say here ni bi to say Master Jamai. Ya nye die ni bi. Enye ya ada ebe didie no. Na come na dey ono odi den kondo. Na according to the lawyer, Chedo sorry say papa your friend Afenyo Afenyo Markin ono kura ka ho. Anema ono ne client. Abufo ne ba ye be ye more. Na dey say eso mo tackle maame your friend get treat arabase kitoko no mean free kunya so because Afenyo Markin eboa ye mama oni mami di dwini bebrebe. Na ewie ya wo Afenyo Markin say we minority leaders dey o. Wa sorry gagai. Ana de tintin yanka wasem wo dada ho ha na so hwe kai. Wo na wa mama me afre get to araba sekitoko no. Wo ye pompous gagai. Enti wo ye be hwan ne so akunya. Se Ghana mra efo so nkwa de ana Ghana mra. Fortunately enough. Eso efo asuma ye mama get to araba sekitoko no. Enti o say ohun say minority in parliament, especially minority leader Alexander Afenyo Markin LED NPP before ye de ye ntiase ye niabre kono si we mani bia mre boni amubu aye ma muni ma mi di ye ana mo bese mo cover kanka wo Afenyo Markin say mi si Afenyo Markin so do bebre o press conference a uno di enim work out a uno di enim let's sit on the floor so uno di enim ene yes say adenti ana go defend get to arabase kitoko no. They remove Chief Justice. Papa, over bleh. Pressure, power upon pressure. And then number Afenyo Markin no. But Chedo sorry say the entire August has him no. Ghana for Motumbasi no mutini pa.
Apart from the disrespect to the nominee, it even went further to affect another justice, the most senior justice of the day, Justice Puamang, who was the chairman of the committee that recommended that the Chief Justice be removed. To some extent, I would blame Justice Puamang because, as I have said, I think I've said here or somewhere that his own report is the problem. The minority leader was one of the reasons why I petitioned, or my client petitioned for the removal of the Chief Justice. There was a huge count which mentioned his name and mentioned the acts that formed the basis of our petition. What was this count? We said he had set a precedent, in fact, a record in the court by being the only party or being the only person who within 2 hours was able to get a full panel of the Supreme Court presided over by the erstwhile Chief Justice to give him orders that by the scope of the application before the court, no court in the world in the common law jurisdiction will give him. Now, in the course of all of those proceedings and after, people who knew the two of them spoke to me and they said, don't you understand? That is his sister. The removed Chief Justice is his sister. When
sister in terms of
Ghana, they come from the same place.
Okay.
1, 2. When her father died, the minority leader hosted her visitors, and people who were there called me. So, in some of if I had attended the next proceedings, the next person against whom I was going to raise that objection was the Chief Justice. I said, all of these arguments we are having back and forth, and you are literally descending into the arena of conflict, is because somebody that you are close to is the plaintiff in this particular matter. Who was the plaintiff? It is Afenyo Markin. 2, there is now information coming out that there are services being rendered in the judicial service, which are linked to Afenyo Markin. He's rendering those services and getting commercial profits from them, and huge ones. And so at this point in time, when Afenyo Markin is making it look like, okay, there's a national public interest aspect of all of this nomination process, and there's some dispute and all of that, it has nothing to do with a minority position. He sold it out to his colleagues to believe that, well, we all have to take a collective position against this, but it is a personal interest. And so the facts that we have show that you have an interest in her being there. And so he's crying louder than every other person because he has an interest in the woman being there. I think they should look at this whole idea of prior approval. That the Constitution didn't say vetting. It said prior approval of Parliament. There ought to be another way of, when they look at your CV and they've done your background checks, if they are calling you for any vetting, then there are specific areas they want you to clarify. Otherwise, Parliament should do an acclamation and you go. And then if you go and you can't deliver, your appointer is there, he will sack you. Yeah. But they keep all of us glued to television. And we are sitting down there and watching a process that 95% of is a joke. If the AG says he wants a docket now, and you can have an excuse, and the AG is getting jittery, you can understand that you have even told Ghanaians that way back you tried to stop the man because you had reasons to stop him. 1 year into a regime, you are still investigating. So what is the basis for seeking to stop him previously? And the Constitution is very clear. Some people even still think that his position is untenable in view of the Constitution. But there's a small provision in it that I understand. In his enabling enactment, it is stated clearly that he can prosecute on the authorization of the AG. So how can it be then that he's on equal footing with the AG?
That the AG has authorized?
Absolutely. In his enabling enactment, the OSP's enabling enactment, he can prosecute with the authorization of the AG. So it's not as if it's between he and the AG, there's a split of power. The power is in the AG. So it is not, it's clear in my mind that he can't say, oh, there seems to be, he has to acknowledge that the AG, insofar as his work is concerned, is the overall, is the repository of power. Yeah. OSP shall be independent. OSP shall be independent. And so you see in the first line of his section 4 also, they say, oh, he shall not be subject to the direction and control. I say, right following that, then they say that he shall prosecute on the authorization of the AG subject to Article 88. Wow. Because the AG's powers are not from the statute, from an act of parliament. They are from the Constitution. So he has overriding power. And the Constitution says that every criminal proceeding in this country shall be instituted by the Attorney General. How can an act of parliament take that away from the AG? That is not, it can't be correct. The AG is the overriding center of power insofar as criminal prosecution is concerned. And the act that establishes the OSP acknowledges it. So let's have some clarity on it, and let's have some humility in terms of power. If he acknowledges that, I'm sure he will work very well with the AG, and he doesn't have to explain to us that we're friends and we understand what we are doing. It's not what you are doing. The way you do what the law says you should do. Nobody cares what your relationship with him is. How this OSP from 2014 to 2015, when they said, there shall be an OSP who will make sure that all of this is dead. And we are seeing nothing. We are only seeing talk. And talk which doesn't add up, talk which is only annoying. So I told him at that time, he should shut up.
Eti Alexander Afenyo Markin Esu ananeho agokase muno na nyono ngwa. Soja ni na okobu a pharmacist plus another lady as a customer. Okobu bo left right said that all because of 65 Ghana cedis no. Me sebe chire mu amuti says sana lady no ne papa ana ye military police for penny na asem no na se obabre obefa pressure mu papa enedua yi amount pay na bail amount of 70,000 Ghana cedis and get this guy 700 million e ato papa ni so ontua no mpie plus 2 sureties next time na we wufu ba no one to man so wabufu na no a asemba onkwa ujejereje enti asem kese asem sebe asem na bae no 70,000 ontia se be a ofirimu piewie a bia ka no yeba okudi no cost nanso odifo a basanya panel nzi wa ahwa wa soja ni mu a na untimi control wabufu hwe bura ya bo hwe bail amount 70,000 soja ni Ghana for asoja for do say no 70,000 eda ho say enu so achi who ya 70,000 ye pe ho surety so timi say the landed properties ebe kire wamba wa busuya na de ya pa ne say busuni all this ade mabada de see ya de otimi avoid wa avoid de so nkwa na wabufu udi wabufu show soja ni mu a agodi sebi nsemunu we depression na eba no wo de na the High Court of Ghana eso say baby aduru eje rerun because our Kpandai ntiwe de say another by election and this for say we mungemu ye be say fa me say aba munzu na grofo na ga 87 eso ti na go 86 say anu gba say be green and this munya we ma what na ni na ni say according to Ghana High Court watermale say papa na friend Matthew Nyindam NPP ni no free Kpandai o win election in 2024 no according to NDC parliamentary candidate NDC omo friends election directors for no say election the NPP NDC na win here but omo hu the entire easy no asabi wabon onimadwuma onim de oye etina kan kra na easy che omo nya na mabo ne gara we no ana wo man papa ye friend Matthew Nyindam awini na papa no kai say akunya no watena so be 8 years grani ba we dey omo so bo ha na NPP fo ho ye tutia o ana wo ni wiemu sa na wo wiemu ana da so je akunya na High Court ai watermale agrante say die say gogotie ni de yenko back Kpandai yekodu yenko to ba foforo na about na ye ba beto no security enye tight na wi a ye wo say NDC ana NPP ana be winim na way ana the parliamentarian ene ono na esi yensan goto na babi no papa ye fe no Matthew Nyindam e kire say court akana sen na mmom no ono owo vim enye vim fa kire say Kpandai fo no to abane man overwhelmingly nti eye dan a obesa di nkunim biu onfa ho the court na ka no wa accept with good faith but no kire say NDC ba be facility na feminism alalai ene kra de tofia kwa bi sida ayadan ya ye beto ba na wie say ye rerun ekoso no na we say nkunim bio na NDC MP ni NDC phone na ma fare say tam enti no I promise promise nye promise fa obeya ma na ye fedo no owie na ne lawyer eso ni to so say ayo mo ya na mo no na ya de mo expect no mo ni say judgment no we compromise MCA na is Obaja say ye High Court no kore omo nka bi no hu na is appointed na bia ne hu kokko maji me boa sa na o kan o nyam na me kan o according to lawyer edema honorable Matthew Nyindam e say no mo ni say mra no enya de be ko no say de omo pe enti omo ba no hogura no mo digan kire omo appeal case omo ne be ko da na omo so omo ni say azam no omo ba no ebe ya say be omo ba no mo digan kire appeal case no e so mo tom dada enti oba ya omo say we na ebe no say ayanka eno na asie no ti ida appeal na agwagotum enti de be si bia na ebe te na mom no say ogura say ye to aba ni bi o a omo ni say ne client ebe di nkunim say ayo say we we dia ni say bensu if you know say client says that to aba ni bi o we wi ni a then what's the plenty talk no plenty talk mon go na mon go to exercise no na say ye hu de be di nkunim.
Well, let me in the first place thank my supporters, thank the good people of Kpandai, and let me put it on record that I'm still their MP. Yes. I want to put it on record that I'm still their MP. Although, like the lawyer said, we were in court, and before we came to court, I can say for sure that for about a week, we knew that things were not going to be right. Our opponents were jubilating. They were saying all manner of things in Kpandai. And they were too sure that this is the judgment they were going to get. But as law-abiding citizens, I want to put on record that Yes, we respect what the judge has said. We vehemently disagree with him. I know that I won the election with a difference of 3,734. That is a clear victory. And if you look at the pink sheets, it's on record that they've admitted that every single pink sheet was given to all the political parties. I have my 152 pink sheets. They have their 152 pink sheets. And if you put the results together, we have won the elections. For some reasons, powers that may be, they decided to come to court and knowing very well that maybe they'll be able to use the state's powers to overturn certain things. But I think that we are in a country that is governed by laws. And that is why the courts are arranged from a lower level to a higher level. So that when a ruling is given at a lower level and you disagree, you move to the next level, which we have done this time. We have completely filed our stay of execution. The lawyer has done that. He's filed the appeal to as well. And we think that God being so good, the next is ours. I'm not afraid, let me put on record that for a run. You see, if genuinely we have to run, we won't have a problem. But if you decide to pave your way through, because you think that you are in government and you can use state powers to be able to coerce the people to vote for you, that's where we have a difficulty. In any case, he came to court with 41 polling stations. And these 41 polling stations are areas that I won with huge margins. But they realized that if they get the judgment for even the 41 police station, they were going to lose it straight away. So for whatever reason, the judge said that we're going to have a rerun. But we respect it. We have gone to the appeal court. We filed stay of execution, and we will take it from there. It is an interesting story, okay? Because it has never happened before. This is the first time something like this has happened in Ghana. And it should tell all of us that we are not safe. We are not safe. We need to sit up as a nation, because if the executive can directly come and you saw the court today, even the regional minister himself was in court. Almost everybody who matters was in court, and that completely told me that Yale, what you are sensing is what is going to happen.
Granted, we believe that the petition was frivolous, but the court has decided otherwise. So we respect the decision of the court, but we strongly disagree with the judgment. And we have already shown our agreement by filing a competent notice of appeal. And we've added a motion for stay of execution. As a lawyer, if you have picked certain information that judgment will be compromised, you prepare. So you come for the judgment with a notice of appeal in your pocket. And that was that is affirmed because we knew that was what was going to happen. So it's not even surprising at all. And so the only fight left for us is to follow the due process of the law. And that is by filing a notice of appeal. This is my notice of appeal dated 24th November 2025 at 10:04. The motion for stay of execution is dated 10:13. Now, the petitioner has been served with the process and he decided to throw it away. But that's proper service. In law, if they serve you a process and you throw it away, the bailiff will only go and prove service by saying that you were served but you threw the process away. And that's even contempt of court. But that's for another day. But all I want to say is that we have accepted the decision, we respect it, but we disagree. And that is why we are marching forward to the Court of Appeal, where we believe that they will review the evidence on the record. For example, the record is that everyone was given a copy of the pink sheet. Now, the evidence on the record is that there was violence at the initially designated coalition center, which is Kpandai. And now, once there was violence, the EC has the right to relocate the coalition center. Now, regulation 48 of CI 127 says that the absence of a candidate and his agent at the coalition center does not invalidate the results. So, if you came to court saying that there were issues with 41 police stations, what is the
results of the collated, figures for those police stations that were not having issues. The NDC couldn't answer this in court. Now, they said that the affected polling station 41, that the total votes is about 500. Now, commonsensically, if you take that 500 votes and add it to the petitioner, he will still not win the elections. So on what basis would a court annul results when elections are held at the polling stations and won at the polling stations? But as I said, we normally say the law is in the bosom of the judge. That doesn't mean the judge is necessarily right. And if you are dissatisfied as a party, that's why there is a hierarchy. You climb the next ladder, which is the Court of Appeal in the instant case.
But NDC for the chance on check. Rashid Tanko computer, our deputy director of elections, Edema NDC just say one. So omukada bia na Ghana for visa moboa. Say Electoral Commission for no ebi wo ho a chrono pa. Chrono fitanu chrono tuntum omuni borof. Also omoye NDC for sa afu a omo money da won say omo exposed Electoral Commission for no. Osi we High Court adaruma. Omo Ghana for na say election na course no. Na nya sunduemu, na nya na papa mu. Omo to election na we election ni we make sure say omo see NDC, but fortunately enough High Court as a take the ball rolling. And this time around, Ometere NPP was say, hey, they say no by election by a bedi, rerun by a bedi, election be a baby. In fact, a school prefect election crana. Yeah, NDC for the for NPP. When seven is hey.
We are grateful to the courts for having done justice to the good people of Kpandai. All along, the NDC has been saying that there are several crooked electoral officers who are bent on stealing people's mandate. And one of it is what has been exposed today. We said it time and again that the seat of Kpandai was the seat for the NDC. They rigged the election, and we've been saying it time and again that we will continue to expose crooked electoral officers who will continue to rig election. We will stop them. We will make sure that the NDC will prevent such rigging machinery of the then NPP and their crooked collaborators in the Electoral Commission. Clearly, the CI 127, if you look at Regulation 43, 1A up to H spell out how collation of parliamentary election is done. You collate results based on two forms. We have from 1C and then from 1D. You assemble the results from 1C and then put the summaries on from 1D and declare the results. This was not done. They didn't do that. They just organized themselves, ran to Tamale, cooked some results, and announced Nyindam as a parliamentary candidate elect. This is what they did. And that is why we make sure that we follow through the process. The NDC is the most lawful political party in Ghana. We didn't use lawless means to get this verdict. We made sure that we follow through the process, and we have gotten favorable judgment. I can assure you, we are appealing to our opponents, the NPP. They shouldn't come for the by-election, because we will hand them some heavy defeat. If they if they still want to have some kind of respect to the good people of Ghana, they should chicken out how they chicken out in Tamale Central. Otherwise, our election machinery, you can see my regional minister is here, my presidential staffer, my candidate is here. We are going home. I'm sending the verdict back to National Secretariat. We are going to prepare them, giving us 30 days. We are ready. Even tomorrow, we are ready for it. We are going to make sure that the seat will return to NDC within 30 days. We are happy, we are grateful to Kpandai people for their patience. We assure them that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama will continue to do the goodies for them. We will continue to do whatever we are doing and to make sure that proper representation of NDC is done in the Kpandai constituency. We are grateful.
Tamale Central Maje. Now you buy less movie in the Kama. I could tell myself you need. Says you Panda, so I'm a different before. Now I'm going to 86. Ah, bah, in this moon to was it. And then I'm going to be Massa. Eh? I think that very much is catching say, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. And this is for me, I agree. But and this was a baby. King, or magic. Or magic, I saw. Or magic, Edaka. Omu sit now. already o manya bebrebe no ha mezi ebe over 180 muna so pebako e da fu bi o 87 adan na mutrimu ya nisa ba NDC mo so mfa omfa boge emfa nya so an ndi na uko premu ewo Ghana ye parliament nsem bebrebe a police force anya nsem bebrebe according to EC staff member Baku Afenyo Joseph Blankson Adumadzie chese wa petition formally John Dramani Mahama the president of the land said there ye first we get to arabase kitoko no sa kwa na so ye fan yi EC chair any two deputies no omunya madu so mbo Ghana kai dio Mahama di kan kada se EC chair be you ase dun katia adi kan kada se EC chair be you know see the NPP for no grass no the last Ablekuma not election course so omeye okay so mu EC chairperson Jin Mensa and then a staff member from EC on one office as well petition John Dramani Mahama say Mahama no efre kunya so OSP versus Martin Kpebu nyina no because wajai papa Afenyo Ken Oforiata former finance minister manager na dwane o man dwane no o se boa se unima se nu bi anka wanyai amana nyane enti da ye nti nyina the reason why o say papa no eden a ese ehwan ne to akunya no free OSP office on ye OSP we sure so beja di na kobat eden ese si so dani ne so a ono kobo pharmacist ana a client ba ko ana se customer ba ko no the man 70,000 Ghana cedis bail amount plus 2 sureties so benya ba so nyamba eno asem sebe another rerun or by election because our Kpandai between NDC and NPP ba go win election according to the High Court in Tamale say one win kwa paso jabano yenko to the ofro and NDC for say they are going to win every seat NPP for abebi aduno adusu omunya nanka we die NDC for jamomo omeja momo and omunya momo for comment comment section that say we are not subscribe like it na share monia aso enya bi ere ni no eye ba ko pe Maxi Billian our naked truth our Oldboga trends. Bye bye.